Hello and welcome to Playblack. I'm Jay, an arts manager, educator, writer, musician, producer, and professional daydreamer.
And I'm Miguel, a musician, arts administrator, educator, and lover of all things nerdy.
Again, this is Playblack, a podcast dedicated to nerddom, reviews, and hot takes on arts and culture and the human experience from the perspective of two melanated artists.
Since we have gotten no feedback on this tagline, I will continue to use it. We are just your typical anime bros, except with master's degrees.
And therapy.
Okay. Mental health. Appreciate it.
As you can see, we're joined by the homie, Amenawon Johnson, a.k.a. E-Man. We're going to get into a whole thing, but first we got to do some house cleaning. First off, y'all be trifling because...
Let them know. Listen, I'm usually the one that dragged y'all, but Miguel gonna do it. We'll just show you how serious it is. Okay? Lay it on him.
We're out here trying to build community. We're out here trying to build up all the socials, all the channels, and we ain't got no subscribers on YouTube. I mean, we got a couple, but we need y'all to subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's going to be a link in the description, so please subscribe, share. If y'all are really about it, and you know someone who it could be about it, send them the link.
Because to be clear, I just want to piggyback on this. Y'all asked for this, right? Y'all asked for this. I was very okay being unlotioned in the face, recording with Miguel on evenings. Okay, we know we have a real life friendship. He's seen me all kinds of busted. It was fine, but now y'all made us work a little bit harder. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. But Jay, it looks like you got something to say.
I do. So it's interesting. I feel like, we all know that the past few years have been tough, right? Like the world feels like it's on fire. There's just a whole bunch of nonsense. And I think I've been very intentional about trying to find joy where I can get it. And because we're millennials, we're also a little bit nostalgia obsessed. And so there's a lot of like nerddom that comes up in our lives. My mom recently came to live with me and she's like been seeing all these little bits of nerddom and it's been like, are you okay? Why are you doing this? You're a grown-ass man. And, I'm just like, no, this is very intentional. It's about my joy. It's about reclaiming my inner child and having that be present. And she got it and like has been supporting that in her own ways with me and then also finding it for herself, which has been really nice. But it's made me really curious to think about how particularly as we've talked about on the pod before, about how nerddom used to be this thing that was like, not cool, right? Not looked great upon. But now it seems like it's so much in the zeitgeist. It's made me really interested in how are people bringing it into their everyday lives? What does that look like, that reclamation and that holding on to joy? And so we're going to start having some conversations. And today is the first of those, which is really about looking at how folks have those connections and have it remain prevalent, these experiences and connections to nerd culture in their lives. So, Miguel, can you talk a little bit more about who we're talking to today and what the conversation is going to be about?
Yeah, well, today we are talking to cosplayer, streamer, weeb extraordinaire Amenawon Johnson, aka E-Man. And we actually went to middle school and high school together, which is wild.
Wow.
And we reconnected in a funny way, which I'm sure we'll get into the actual interview. But welcome, Amenawon. It's good to see your face. It's good to be interacting.
Yeah.
And without further ado, we're gonna get into the Playblack.
Woo.
Damn, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It's okay to swear in here, right? I'm sorry. I don't
Absolutely.
There you go. Fucking right. Okay, it's good. Yeah, I am touched that you guys would have me on here as like your inaugural nerd, like melanated nerd conversationalist, dude. That's great. I appreciate y'all. I don't have a master's, so I'm sorry to break that to y'all.
All right. Well, this is over. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, good seeing y'all. Peace out. Yeah, wow, that is a good point. I'm just learning now the subject matter of this talk. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, back in the day, like nerddom was not at all celebrated. I mean, you were a pariah for liking that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the day, quick, little backstory. I was one of the OG Naruto runners, man. I was like, my very first anime, or like just dive into the culture. Besides the typical casual Dragon Ball Z stuff, was Naruto. My very first edition of Naruto that I got from Kelly Hall, the name that you might remember, Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was like hooked immediately, man. Like the Takano Jutsu, the friendship, like the quirky kids who was like on the side, but like really like had the potential to be something better.
Yeah,
that kind of thing really resonated with me, and it's been all downhill since then, man. Just certified weeb, like you said, like weeb extraordinaire. I've been a little bit elitist, but I try to dial it back for the sake of the community. But I'm a software engineer by day, Twitch streamer, cosplayer, certified weeb, all that stuff by night. And I couldn't be happier, man. Just like living out the, like you said, reclaiming my childhood, and like just getting an appreciation for it, because like the community is just so happy to have you in a lot of circles, especially conventions, which we can talk about whenever you want to. I mean, I love these conventions, but
for sure. So I think what we're piloting for a name for this segment is Profiles in Blurreddom.
I like that.
Okay. We can workshop that, y'all.
It's a soft launch. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, soft launch.
Yeah, we'll circle back. But real quick, Amenawon, we ended up at the same wedding where we didn't actually know the I didn't know the groom, and you didn't really know the bride, and my partner was went to grad school with the bride, and we just ended up.
That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. Right. We ended up at this dope. Was it a Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, they rented out a Chinese restaurant, and we all there was a ton of people. There was way too many people for that venue to have, and
it was crazy.
Yeah, and did you notice every single table had Hennessy for some reason? Why is that always the case, man? I've been to two Chinese weddings recently in the last couple of years. Every one of them had Hennessy at the table, man. Is this not a black thing, or is this a multicultural kind of thing? I mean, I'm down with it. I'm happy, but
the Asian and black cultures,
yes.
they come together.
It's been like that, man. It's been like that.
I don't like when we fight for that exact reason. I feel like we're destined to be family, and I don't like when we pretend that we're not. You know what I mean? It gets to me.
Exactly.
But it was wicked funny. We did we had a Spider-Man moment. What are you doing?
It was a big ass venue. I'm like,
is that
it's crazy.
And we reconnected, and then that was the dinner. That wasn't even the actual wedding.
Oh, yeah, it was a whole weekend, man.
Yeah, it was a whole weekend. We went to we got a beer and caught up and did the whole thing, and that's when I got wind. I'd seen online that you'd be doing some of this stuff, but I hadn't gotten wind that you were in it, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
That's what's up. So real quick, what was it like growing up black and nerdy? You got into a little bit of it, and you got into what your gateway anime was, but I don't know where we grew up. There wasn't a ton of people of color. There wasn't a ton of black people. We all grew up in Massachusetts in some way, shape, or form. What was it like for you? What was your experience?
Well, I've always been sort of an inclusive kind of guy. I guess I've always, from middle school onward, I've always sat at the other table at lunch. Right, the table was not quite. I mean, we didn't have quite enough scene kids to have a whole scene table. We didn't have enough anime kids to have an anime table.
Right.
Enough, I don't know, badminton kids to have a badminton table. So we all sat at the same kind of table together. And it's always been my kind of vibe, right? Kind of just off on the side, but always very inclusive. And being a black person, I guess, being a person of color, kind of puts you sometimes in the other category by default, because in predominantly white spaces or places where you're the only person of your specific race, you're just that. You're the kind of outsider. Anime somewhat exacerbates that by giving you a niche thing that you really like. Just a little bit, exactly, just a little bit. Put you in a different category. So finding commonality with in anime with other people is a beautiful thing for that reason, right? I mean, just how it alienates you kind of, but also it brings you together. And that's kind of what I started looking for that. I started craving that commonality, in my friends and my lifestyle, that kind of thing. From middle school, when I first started liking anime, on to college, when your world expands, right? There's like so many fucking people like at your, hopefully you go to college. I mean, if you don't, that's perfectly fine too, but regardless, it expands your like horizons.
Right.
You have a lot more people at your lunch tables. You have a lot more people that you're interacting with. Your view of the world just expands. So on into college, when I ran track and was like an athlete, I still don't be impressed. I wasn't that good. I was still like, still super nerdy, still all about that. And I would take time away from my athlete friends, and my normie friends, I guess, and like hang out with like the anime people, right? The anime people, they were my core. They were like who I would always like be with. And yeah, so that just kept on progressing. That kept on going. I became an adult, got some disposable income, got a decent job, I guess. And with that spare time, that disposable income and all the good stuff, I had to come back to it, right? I had to come back to anime, get back into it, get back to like what I love. And to my surprise, it's no longer like a social pariah thing, right? It's like
Right.
just everybody's into it. It's hip. Have you seen how we're being marketed out here? You talked about like reclaiming our youth, but man, everybody's got a Naruto everything, man. This Naruto Sasuke Uchiha design clothes. The algorithm has us in a headlock, man. There's people of color, like non-people of color, the age groups. God, and it's just very refreshing to see. And I'm not sure where this tangent was going, but I think the conclusion is that it brought people together. It brought me like closer to other people, and I want to continue doing it regardless of color or anything. Right.
Our last conversation, we were talking about Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, and Miguel made this really interesting observation about the connections that he made in his personal life with people that are still there, that kind of were facilitated through that shared connection. And then thinking about how Toriyama impacted a lot of other mangakas and the shows that they made, and then how people bonded over those ones. So just hearing you talk about like connection and finding people as it relates through this stuff just seems to like echo what we talked about last time. But okay, now you've done that. You've grown up with it. You've now reclaimed it. As you said, you had some disposable income. You made a return to it to maybe have it take a more fuller presence in your life. And it seems that now expresses itself in cosplay and streaming. So can you talk a little bit about that? Talk a little bit about what you stream. And we've talked about anime some, but obviously streaming is more about gaming. And so like, what are you into in that sense as well?
True. So like I said, I've always been like that kind of inclusive kind of guy. And streaming very much lends it. It's very much like in a streamer's like wheelhouse of like things they should be, all about, right? Being inclusive, having a community, and building it up. So to that end, I started streaming, built up a small community. Again, I let all freaks and geeks come in, like anybody who likes the same thing as me. Although I have one stipulation: if you want to be a mod, you have to give me your top 5 anime. I have to approve of those. Otherwise, it's like a no go. You can't have
fair.
I'm not gonna throw my like anime hot takes out here. I don't want to alienated nobody here.
Oh,
no, this is the place for that. So please do that.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, I'll give a pass for Dragon Ball Z. Some battle shonen here and there, but you got to have something deeper there, or just have the goated battle shonen in your list, and then I'm happy.
You know what we should do? So just put a pin in this that we think about it later. Miguel, you and I are going to present our 5 to see if we would pass the moderator test later on in the episode. Okay.
Hey man,
all right,
let's go, man. I could always use some more mods, man. Easy mods.
Let's go.
So yeah, I started streaming. Not so much for the income, because again, I have time and the income isn't like that crazy. I just want to pursue my passions and like build up a little community. And I think I've somewhat succeeded in that. I have like 1,000-ish followers, but I have a community that actually is happy that when I go live, and that's literally all you really want right there.
Totally.
When it comes to what games I play, it's basically up to the community. I have like channel point rewards where you can redeem any kind of game for me to play, and they make me play some shit. They make me play some dog water. I mostly play rage games and scary games. I'm soft as Charmin. I'm like soft as baby shit. I really can't. I don't have the constitution for it. These muscles are all for show. They're show muscles. The point, so they had me playing like Mortuary Assistant. That was a big stream. Outlast. I don't know if you heard these games. And the Resident Evils. Resident Evil.
Yes.
I played Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 2 recently. Just good content for somebody. But again, it's just about bringing the community together and like letting them be entertained by whatever I'm doing. For cosplay, that took me a while to like build the courage to do. Right, it took me some like genuine effort because I didn't want to go in there like half-hearted. That's the thing with people, right? You don't want to half-ass it. You don't want to go there like with a box around yourself, like with and a Gundam label on you. Even though some people do that. So I wanted to do it legit. I wanted to get after it, and so I just got a bunch of foam, started carving it up, looking at online tutorials because now it was like popular at this point, and just went to PAX East. It was my first convention that I cosplayed at. Yeah. I was Project Lucian from League of Legends. He is a black dreaded character, and people fucking loved it. They ate it right up. I mean, people were taking pictures with me. I was like, oh my God, I'm like a celebrity. What's going on here, right? For the bare minimum, I mean, I was trash. I looked at what I had. It was nothing compared to like the professional grade cosplay you see, like the Jessica Negris and the Yaya Hans and stuff. But people still really appreciated you just having the guts to be out there in costume and put some effort in, which it goes without saying, like it's just a wonderful thing to like feel, right? So
yeah, I mean,
after that, go on. Sorry,
I was gonna say, like, you put yourself out there. Like I'm thinking of like Naruto running kid, like at the
which to be clear, when y'all say that, do you mean like you were legit like arms behind the back Naruto running?
He
okay.
knows. He's okay. He wants us to get up and do it. We're not
gonna. But like for real, like we're talking about like awkward gangly Naruto running kid on the at the whatever not cool table. That in hindsight, all that shit seems so like just ridiculous.
How tiny is that? Like in retrospect, right?
Right. And now we found our little communities and we're doing our thing now, which is really cool. To now you like put yourself out there on purpose, and just that one step is so important, and so many people don't take that one step. And like you were saying to me like, oh, big man Miguel, whatever. Like, bro, I still struggle like putting myself out there. Like doing the podcast is awesome and I really enjoy it, but like even just like putting myself out here on the podcast like that is like something I have to like mentally hurdle for myself, right? So like actually having the I don't know, gumption to put yourself out there and to get that like immediate love and response, that must be so rewarding.
It is, man. It's very cathartic. And that's the thing too, right? You talked about, I mean, same thing with streaming, like everything that I wanted to do that I like took a little bit of moxie or like, boldness. It's like, oh man, I'm going to fail. People are going to laugh at me, all kind of stuff. Right. And the thing is about that, like, it's the easiest thing in the world to like sit on the sidelines and make fun of somebody's misdirected effort or something, right? Make fun of some guy who like, oh, look at him. He only has 2 followers, man. What are you even streaming for? Or, hey, look at this guy. He like lifts all day, but his like legs are skinny as hell. Like, what are you lifting for? Or like watching, it's the easiest thing. Sitting on like, shitting on an Olympic athlete from every level. It's easy, right? Shitting on an Olympic level athlete, like fucking up like some kind of triple backflip. And like some guy on his toilet seat, like eating Cheetos, is like, man, I could do that, like any day. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to just make fun of people's like they're just haters, right? If anything, if you are passionate enough about something, you should be willing to, maybe not internalize all that stuff, but like listen to it, brush it off, and like continue to do it to the best of your ability, because those people are always going to exist at every single level, right? I mean, at every level, from when you start to when you're like literally LeBron James. So you got to like, take that step. And it's really corny to say like, because everybody's always saying it, but you really got to have some conviction like with what you're doing. So that's why I'm proud to see like you guys like just killing it with this podcast and like, doing it right. It gives me like, motivation to keep on doing what I'm doing. Right. So
that's the idea. It's like a circular ecosystem,
exactly. Everybody eats.
Yeah. Really quick, like, is there a significant difference between how you were received in the anime community as an adult versus the gaming community? And like on top of that, as a Black person, is it that much different for you?
That's a good question. People make a big distinction between the anime and the gaming community, like a lot. Which I guess kind of makes sense. I really just throw them all into the same like category. When I go to PAX East, whether you're a Genshin cosplayer or like a, I don't know, a Borderlands cosplayer, you're really just a nerd to me. Like, we're, it's not. So I wouldn't say that
they're arbitrary to you. These distinctions.
They're arbitrary, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that one or the other was like more receptive. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I'd say the anime community is much more open and much more embracing than the gamer community, because there's still a little bit, a tiny bit of vitriol when it comes to people of color, when it comes to some online games. There's some like online game communities that are still pretty toxic, right? Pretty toxic. But anime for the most part is just like, especially now with like all the people like coming out being like, oh yeah, I love Dragon Ball Z, I grew up with it, or like the Naruto stuff. Like, what's his face? Who's the guy? Killmonger and Black
Michael
Panther.
B. Jordan. I knew that's what you meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan. He's just like, oh man, I love anime. Then everybody's just like, oh, I love anime too. Ooh, like people losing their minds. Lil Uzi Vert, like has several like has a ton of anime inspiration, like in his like album art and like all of his stuff. That is the Black community in anime, and it is just very, very large, expansive, and growing. I mean, just look at the Instagram, like ads you be getting sometimes, right? Just I'm sitting here looking at my Akatsuki do-rag right now. Like, it's just that's the way it is, boys. So I can't make it up. So I would say, oh my god, beautiful. Well, I mean, to that end, I have my Lucio shot glass right here, one of my first cosplays. But I'd say the anime community is a little bit more inviting than the gaming community. Got it. But both are very we're all just nerds. They're very inviting in general.
It should really be that simple. I mean, talking about community, there's been a lot of research that's come out in the past few years, particularly after the pandemic, that talks about the increase in loneliness that a lot of people are feeling. And it's like reached the highest levels that we've seen in a long time. And one reason for that is talked about a little bit is the death of third spaces. And third spaces were spaces that they say are, you work, you go home, and then there's this third space for folks. It used to be church or the mall, but basically it's a place where you can go, where you have shared interests with somebody, and you can meet people with shared interests. But with malls closing, with us not going outside as much, with us working from home, there's less opportunities for connection that exist in the real world. And so I guess the question is, do you feel, you've talked a little bit about the sense of community that you've developed. Do you feel like these virtual spaces that we're creating and that you're creating can serve as a third space? How does community function in spaces like that? And then I guess, do you feel like cons also provide possibilities for that third space action as well?
Yeah, so that virtual third space you talked about, I mean, I saw the same kind of conversation being had post-pandemic. One thing that people talk about when it comes to virtual spaces is Discord. I'm sure everybody's heard or used it, right? Mm-hmm. It was instrumental in me keeping my sanity during the pandemic. Honestly, it was crazy how much fun I actually had. Coming right off of work, going around Discord, knowing that 3 of my boys are going to be there at least in this little community, and just playing Monster Hunter. I think it was World that came out at that time. Any kind of video game, just sitting there, just doing nothing, just talking here and there, but just relaxing. That was that virtual third space, and it was a lot of people went through that, and it was just a really good feeling. But I do agree that the third space is dying, and conventions can fill that space. They're just so rare that it's tough to commune there as often. Right. That being said, you can network a lot if you're social enough, and you got the right whatever it is. You can meet a ton of people. I just networking out at PAX East is my favorite part. Everybody's so inviting. Everybody just wants to talk about the shared interest in this random stuff that they like. It's really, really inviting, and I think that it can function as a way to just meet like-minded people really, really well. Yeah, if you have the mindset for it. Does that answer the question? There's another part.
It does, and now I have a follow-up. So when people are following you, what are they looking for, do you think, the people that are following you? And then 2, as you're thinking about the space, the vibe that you're cultivating, what are you trying to build? What are you inviting them into?
Ooh, man, I'm not thought about all this. We have to call like the people in my chat. Well, I call them like e-boys and e-girls because my nickname is E-Man. I call them like high functioning degens. Honestly, that's what I call them. Just because they're degenerates. They're like, we get down and dirty. Like they keep me humble, right? They do like shit talk, all that stuff, right? Because you really have to like as a stay humble as a content creator. I feel like otherwise you have an echo chamber in your chat or your community, and that's just terrible. That just like breaks down your integrity.
Makes you down a
like
person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So to that degree, to that extent, it's just a really welcoming community. I invited people of all like, brands, and we just have fun. We get a little bit drunk sometimes, we have a little bit of liquor, talk about like, our fandoms, talk about reality TV shows, all that stuff. And I've actually met a ton of them at conventions too. Like
cool.
We have,
wow.
I mean, I've been preaching about Dragon Con for the last, by the way, best con on the face of the earth. I've been preaching about that shit for like 3 years. And we finally got a group of 16 people in my Twitch chat, my community, to go down there. And
amazing.
It is going to be nice. It's going to be real nice. But I've met people there, or I brought people there. There's a group that I always have sushi with at PAX East that I met up with last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Any opportunity to meet the people like that are in my community and like just show them how fun and inviting like the these spaces can be, I'm all for it. So I'm there for them, right? That's the time that you're gonna have at the Aggamenawon channel. It's we try to have fun.
I love that.
Yo, that's dope, dude. Like straight up, and like community is like a big aspect of what we try to do here and build up, and that interactive quality that you can have now with Twitch, with Discord, is like it's so powerful when it's locked in right, and you set up the I don't want to say rules, but you set up a space in a way that people can actually like enjoy themselves and not worry about stuff. It can just be very powerful. So this is going to air the week after, but we are headed to Anime Boston this weekend. And for me, it's my first con in like 17 years. Like I haven't been in like a long time.
Whew, man, you're missing out.
And Jay,
mine, it was when TT was still living at that damn, added to the TT counter.
You mentioned Taniqua like once an episode.
I know. And it's never planned. That's so crazy. It's when she was still living at that place in JP.
So like 5 years ago?
5 or 6 years ago. Well, no, because the pandemic was like 5 years ago at this point. I want to say maybe 2017-ish, maybe a little bit before.
What's the lore here?
With TT, she's a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, and a guest that we've had on a couple times. And weirdly, she just somehow finds her way, and by she, I usually somehow bring her up in conversation once per podcast. It's just so random. So random.
I think she commented on one of our videos, like, I'm waiting for my check. Like, what's up?
Like, you need to come her. Well, my like, at this point, right? She deserves a royalty, okay?
Give me that money. But, so we're out of the loop when it comes to cons. What is the con experience like? And what should we like look out for and make sure not to miss?
Well, I say merch. I mean, come bring some cash. Well, now you don't got to bring cash, but back in the day, you had to bring cash for the the booths. People who make custom art, custom whatever. Go in there with an open mindset and an open wallet, because it's just a lot of opportunities for you to get like good and niche things that you can't find online, and some things that you can find online that you can just write down the information for.
How much should we be moving in the account? You know what I mean? Like, what should we be prepared to spend and to drop at this con?
Because I got a savings and I got a check.
Right. We can't all be software engineers with 1,000-member streams and stuff. So we got to just be a little bit more strategic about how we do that.
True. Careful. It depends, right? I mean, if you're looking for some posters that you can get framed and real nice, you can get those for maybe $20 here and there. Oh, wow. If you want stickers, those are $5 or something like that. Put them on your. I mean, I got a bunch of with my stuff. Oh, actually, I gotta clean this place up. But I got my Mob Psycho sticker from Body Improvement Club. It's kind
Love
of
Mob
backwards right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. That was like $5, but I also got this like water buffalo, African water buffalo horn.
Shit.
Yeah, this is like $100. So you can't find that nowhere else. The same guy tried to get me. I have another one too. The same guy tried to get me to buy a camel skull off of him for $300. He's like, if you buy one more horn, buddy, you'll get I can get you a camel skull. I'm like, a camel? What am I gonna do with that? He's like, I don't know, but you're the only one who had an interest in it. So yeah, I don't know.
Not this man is black dealing, but okay, just got camel skulls.
Oh, exactly, it was crazy. But yeah, you can find like any kind of thing over there, right? Anything. There's a booth that you could get a 3D model taken of yourself, right? And they'll give you the STL file that comes with it, and they'll print up a figurine. But with that STL, you can just make a bunch of like action figures of yourself, right? Some 3D printed, that kind of stuff. That was $30.
What?
That was $30 exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So
it depends.
Like so much more money. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I didn't know that I wanted it till I saw it. Then I was like, oh, I want that right now. So
got it.
You go in there with an open mind, and you'll find something that you like, right?
All right, I'll take a look at the budget and do some fun transfers, and we'll be ready for Saturday.
Very nice, very nice.
Hell yeah, man! All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break, but when we get back, we're gonna get into fandoms, the actual deep dive nerddoms. I guess we're gonna also see if we could be moderators.
Right. I'm trying to think of my 5 right now. I'm just like, I can't be whack. All right,
got to think about it. So we'll be back with more right after this. And we're back with the Playblack with Amenawon Johnson, aka E-Man, and we're going to get into some fandoms. But first, I had a very specific question for you because we have another very specific thing in common. Did growing up religious affect what you could take in as a kid? I just told a story last week about Dragon Ball being banned within our congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses for a little bit. And if I remember correctly, you also grew up as Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. We let a Jehovah's Witness into our house, and it was all.
That was your first mistake.
That was a rap. Exactly.
That was your first mistake.
It was my mom, man. It was a rap.
Damn.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Nah, I was born into it. It was a rap. Like there was nowhere else to go.
What a legacy.
It's a tough one, man.
But it is what it is. But was there like like you couldn't only watch from a certain time to time if your mom saw blood on the screen, it was like a no-go? Like what was the vibe?
It's a tough one. I don't think there was any. We were only, again, that was a small part of of my childhood. I'm sorry it took up like almost seems like a lot of years, but at the time we'd already pre-established like how important anime and stuff was. I already had several issues of Shonen Jump in my room.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of Naruto and stuff. There was no way my mom was taking away any of that kind of stuff. We just hid them when the Jehovah's Witness lady came back in for the extra sermons and stuff like that. But,
they did at-home sermons?
Yeah, so we let them in, and then they kept on coming back and back and back, being give us the good word, over and over again until we actually went to Kingdom Hall. We went to Kingdom Hall a bunch of times. Then we went to a Jehovah's Witness convention. Not great, and
it's not. I can't confirm. Confirm it's not great.
But hey, we went to McDonald's afterwards, right? So
no. We didn't go to McDonald's. Sorry, continue.
Brutal. No, that's pretty much it. I was too established. I was too established for them to just cut it off, right? That's the one thing I'm grateful for, I guess.
Yeah.
The whole Jehovah's Witness thing. But religion it's a tough one, and mingling with anime and stuff. Yeah. I actually, when it comes to it now that I'm an adult, I went through a phase where I was oh, this is terrible. I hate religion, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I can appreciate very tasteful religious, callbacks, symbolism, that kind of stuff in my anime nowadays.
Sure.
As an adult, I really appreciate Neon Evangelion, like, and
Yeah.
it's like, what it does there, like with gods and angels and
Yeah.
the nature of like humanity.
Right. Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think of other ones too. Death Note had like a more bleak like version of like, of gods and that kind of thing. But
yeah,
what I'm saying is I can appreciate it now more than I could back then. But there was no way my mom was gonna take away my Dragon Ball Z and my Yu-Gi-Oh like manga just because Jehovah's Witness lady came in.
I will say I had a slight like I was fascinated from a young age with anything that would show a different version or a different take on Christianity or gods.
Oh yeah,
overall.
100%.
So Neon Genesis was like I was like, there are crosses. Why are there crosses? Like, what are these? Like, they're talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls and all these like really like. It was to me, so it was just really fascinating to me. Whenever I saw anything that represented God in a different light, other than the very strict version I had seen, it was just like I want to take it in because I want to know. Like Constantine, that 2005 Keanu Reeves movie, I was like, this is crazy. Like,
not great, but great. It's one of those not great movies. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It's like, and then like you going back and actually reading the comics and like, okay, whoa, there's a whole like mystical part of DC that we didn't even like really like think about, but. And really quick, before we get into the fandom stuff, any thoughts on the passing of Akira Toriyama?
Oh, me, brutal, absolutely brutal, man. But also, you talked about connectivity and stuff, right? The Black, Latino, and Asian communities all came together for this guy's like passing, man. I mean, it just became very clear to me, and it wasn't before. It was a little bit before, but I knew how much the Black community really liked him because I'm Black and I'm pretty like around like Black people who like just like always wanted to go Super Saiyan and like, tried it, to various degrees of success in middle school. But like the Hispanic community loved him, man. Like you got Chile, Argentina, like Brazil, like Hispanic and Latino communities all going nuts, like holding memorials, like playing videos, like just like posting. I had no idea how big of an impact he really had, like on the people making like just cartel jokes about like the cartels, like just crying because Goku
just ceasefires, temporary ceasefires,
temporary ceasefire, exactly. That stuff. It's really it's really a beautiful thing. Honestly, I'm very impressed. And while I have a confession. I've been shitting on Dragon Ball Z for a long, long time.
Don't worry. We respected him, and I brought that up, my feelings last week, too. So this is a safe place for that.
Thank you. Thank God. Super is ass. Super is so bad. It's so bad, man. I keep on telling my friends, it's trash. They're milking our nostalgia, right? Like right from the udder.
Oh, absolutely.
That being said, he was a pioneer. He's like the star. He's the George Lucas of anime, I guess. Like his tropes, like his stuff has so much influence everywhere else. Like you said, right. Hunter x Hunter. You ever watch the Chimera Ant arc?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like
holy crap, man. Like just Super Saiyan as a concept, right? Your friend dying and like you avenging him, like, with you out of sheer willpower. The concept of like a main character wanting to protect his friends over like anything else, like just and becoming stronger because of it. Just even like when it comes to being physical or being like just strong, Goku probably inspired so many kids to like go hit the gym. So many, I know he did for me, right? He did for me. Absolutely. That shit influenced people way more than any like Got Milk ad ever did, right? Sure. I mean, no one got healthier off a fucking Got Milk ad, but everybody in the gym right now, they're all wearing like Dragon Balls on there, the gym shorts. They're all wearing like the orange outfit that he's got on. Michael B. Jordan said that his outfit for Killmonger was inspired by Vegeta. I'm just saying, like, this guy like had an insane amount of influence. Can't think of enough for like all of his work.
Yeah, it really does make me think, though. I just one thing that like part of my work sometimes is as an arts advocate is really for speaking up on why arts and artists need to be invested in as like a vital part of society. And I feel like it's this really weird thing where when you talk about the arts as the arts, it's very easy for people to be dismissive, for them to cut them from schools, to feel like it's whatever. But when you talk about, like we internalize these messages and this hero worship of these fictional characters so much, it makes us want to go to the gym and like change our bodies. I'm just like, it's such a connection to like the deepest parts of ourselves and our subconsciousness that like it's kind of frustrating sometimes to see like the depth of the impact that it has on us actually as people in so many ways, but then like we pretend like it doesn't and that it's completely superfluous. It's wild.
That's such a good point, because I mean, if you said that I was inspired by Goku to go to the gym, or I was inspired by Captain America to go to the gym, some people are gonna laugh, open mouth laugh at your ass. They're gonna open mouth laugh, but it's like real. Nowadays the tides are changing, right? People are coming through and being like, "Yes, I was inspired by." Have you seen Goku flex on Instagram? That guy is literally Goku himself, and he's the way he is because of Goku.
I haven't. That's wild.
FB Aftermath. He's Odell Beckham Jr.'s cousin.
Okay.
Humongous guy, dude. He pays homage to Goku every single time he lifts. And it's very obvious these people, like, although it's art, these fictional characters, they have a serious impact on our like morals. On what we want to do with that. Have you seen Vinland Saga?
Oh, I love Vinland Saga, dude.
It's amazing stuff, man. I mean, if I wasn't a pacifist before, like watching it, I would have been pacifist afterwards, man. Just amazing. And you see the memes going around too, right? It's like, what are people saying? What's it? I have no enemies. I have no enemies.
Yeah. I haven't even seen it, and I know that one. Yeah.
Prophet, like just immaculately conceived, dude. Amazing stuff, but it's art. It's nerd culture. How could you be inspired? Shut up, man. Come on.
Like, and I think people are coming around, especially post-pandemic, to like, you know what? Whatever works for you, get after it. Like there is a bit more of that because everyone figured out that work wasn't actually all that important, and that like, and that their careers actually weren't giving them any fulfillment. And if Goku gets you up in the morning to lift, get after it. If Thorfinn from Vinland Saga is the epitome of pacifism for you, not Mahatma Gandhi, sure,
fuck it, right?
Like, let's go.
Which honestly, maybe he was less problematic than Mahatma, arguably. So
literally, I mean, we can talk about that too.
Yeah, we don't got to get into it, but but it's real though, right? I had something, but it's gone. I think we're about to get into the actual like fun stuff. So Jay, please hit us off.
So favorite out of, and I think I know your answer, the favorite out of the big three of our generation, which was One Piece, Bleach, or Naruto.
I mean, come on now. It's not that obvious, I guess. It's not that obvious. But what universe has persisted for like 30 years, 25 plus years, and still has consistency? It's still like, really, it's still Diesel. You can still like, do all these callbacks and stuff like that. There's only one. It's not Star Wars. It's not Lord of the Rings or any of those like, other like nerd fandoms. One Piece has maintained our interest for 25 years, has been consistent, has not that consistent, I guess. It's had its low bumps, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey that is coming to fruition in our lifetimes as adults right now, and I couldn't be happier, man. It's got to be One Piece, 100%.
Who's your favorite character in One Piece?
Back in the day, it used to be Usopp, because even though it wasn't very obvious that he was black, I guess it was kind of obvious that he was black.
The hair.
Oda said, like, he's like the African. You know what he said, right? That, his country or continent would be Africa. It's shifted now. Now it's Jinbei, actually.
I love Jinbei. Yeah.
People call him boring because, again, he's like a late addition to the squad.
He's the adult. Yeah. He's just the adult.
He's the adult. Exactly. He's the adult. He's like 40 something, which I like too, honestly. Like having like people in the protagonist group who like are just like not a teenager,
right?
Like it's great. It's refreshing, right? It's different.
Y'all all do too much. Jinbei's like, calm down, and I'm like, I respect that.
Exactly.
I respect that.
Relax. Exactly. He like reins it in, right? He's the fucking. Speaking of reining it in, he moves the shit, right? He's the helmsman. That whole Fishman storyline, the Fishman arc, the parallels with the black people, the Martin Luther King Jr. Fish Princess, and
the Malcolm
Fisher,
X other
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that stuff it really resonated. Like it hit home, and it's funny how Oda's able to like weave these like real life, like whatever
again the power of
history. exactly, just like weave them into the story and make it palatable for people who have no idea. I mean, I feel like Japanese people don't really know that much about Martin Luther King Jr., but they're getting his story with a fishman twist, and it's very palatable. It's good.
You know, I didn't even make that parallel clear until you just said that. And I'm just
Really?
like, now it feels so obvious. Like, I'm new to my One Piece. Like, I'm still on my journey. I just finished Punk Hazard. About to go to Dressrosa. So I'm just like I'm still in there. But yeah, I'm just like, wow, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. Another one, and I'm gonna jump ahead of Miguel for this. Another one that deals with stuff like that is X-Men, and then X-Men 97 is out. Have you seen that yet? Miguel hasn't because he's slacking and doesn't take his job seriously. But I'm wondering how you feel about it if you've got a chance to see it.
I hadn't seen it actually. I haven't seen it. I watched the OG like a series.
Right.
It's not my job to see it though.
That's true. It's different, Miguel.
Miguel's getting away with murder over here. I can appreciate it. I mean, mutants have always been that, like, the POC story, right? The POC, the other people, the LGBTQIA community has been represented with them, and of course, like the juxtaposition between the peaceful, Charles Xavier, the Martin Luther King Jr. kind of guy, and the Magneto, Malcolm X. So I really appreciated it for that.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound like bad because I really like animated mediums when it comes to fantasy.
Yeah.
But I just want it to be like, I want a good live action X-Men movie. I want a good.
It's coming.
Is it?
This is how I feel about it. I grew up on X-Men, the 90s one, like not in my periphery. It was one of those things that like I watched but wasn't obsessed with, right? It was just there. And I remember it, but I don't have like a strong whatever about it. So I wasn't necessarily excited for the revival. But when I tell you these 3 episodes, I watched the other one today, phenomenal, just phenomenal. And really like getting even more complex with some of the issues, having such unique twists on these characters to like make them still interesting. Like Magneto's very interesting. So all that to say, like, I think, and that's the direction that Marvel is moving in with them. And they've been hinting at the X-Men for a while. And I think that they're being very, very intentional about how they're introduced because they know that that's like, they spent a lot of money to be able to do this. And they know that it's going to change the MCU once it happens. So I am optimistic that there's going to be a lot of care and intention about how they're brought in to make sure that it's done well. And I think we'll find out soon with Deadpool and Wolverine, actually, since that's supposed to be the driver of how they finally enter the universe.
That's a good point. I've thought about that, right? They're testing the waters really to see like, how the little revamp, the soft reboot with the animated series, like hits. And they can just like convert that into like, a lot of some live action, like, action at some point. I never thought about that. It's a good point.
No, I mean, I think I would stand with X2, X-Men United, being a pretty decent X-Men movie. I don't know how y'all felt about it.
X-Men, X2, First Class, Days of Future Past, I think are all great X-Men movies.
Yeah, come on, man, you're leaving some money on the table.
Yeah, I was like, just X2.
No, but I was testing waters because y'all. It seemed like y'all.
It wasn't Lucy Liu. You mean Lady Deathstrike?
Yeah, Lady Deathstrike was
yes.
by
not Lucy Liu.
That's all I could pay attention to, honestly. That's like the only thing that I remember about X-Men 2.
Yeah.
And the Nightcrawler scene at the beginning, right?
Yes.
That was so good.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Right,
wasn't that in Boston? Like they found him in a church in Boston or something like that?
I haven't seen it recently enough to remember.
The White House.
They found him in like a church first. And that, I know what you mean, Miguel.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Brief musical aside about that White House scene. It was the first time that I had seen Mozart. I'm pretty sure it's oh shit, I might be wrong. I think it's Mozart's like unfinished Requiem that they use there. I'm looking it up right now
for the scene.
And I was like, wow, this is such an amazing use of this music.
You were right. I looked it up.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And ever since, everything like it's used so much in so much media. And
really?
I just sit with it and I'm just like, why? Like it immediately happens and I'm like, why? why is it always why? Why is it always this? Like, it's a beautiful
again?
piece of music, and it's epic and all that stuff. But that was the first time, because I saw X2 in theaters, and that scene blew my mind. The White House scene was amazing.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. Getting back to anime, like last couple of years, you mentioned Vinland Saga. Obviously, One Piece is still ongoing, but what would you say are your top for the last couple of years when it comes to anime?
It's dangerous because I mean, you guys want to be mods in my channel, right? I mean, I can't
Ooh,
be
you're
exposing
right.
my hands.
So should we do that
right?
first?
Let's
And
do that
then
first.
you can
No, you're
answer.
right.
Nice try,
Okay.
buddy. Let's see.
Ooh.
I was trying to be tricky.
It was a good plan, Miguel. I respect it. It was a good plan.
I was talking, so I'll go off the dome. I'll figure it out. Do they have to be in a specific order, or is it just a vague top
Absolutely
five?
not. No, top five.
Okay. So, I guess I'll put. Shit, I need my Crunchyroll up here.
I know. I'm thinking, like, should I add in the
Crunchy
edit
rolls?
like some Deal or No Deal music in the background, like just raise the tension on this?
well, I figured that. I mean, honestly, you
Get your
probably
the anime list out. Get the works, boys.
let's see. And this is top five of all time.
All time, yeah, all time.
All time. Okay, that makes it a little easier, actually. So I guess at 5, I'll put. Oh, it doesn't make it easier.
Listen, they ain't gotta be ranked. They ain't gotta be ranked, man. And honestly, I think you guys have good taste. I think y'all have some good taste. I watched one of your. I think I peeped in to see like what you guys like thought about this year, like the best nerd things of this year. There's one bad take I saw in there. That maybe one.
Ooh, I want to hear the bad
I'm
take.
so
Yes.
excited.
A bad
Okay.
take. Like, something I was like, raise my eyebrow. I was like,
This is exciting.
I love it.
Okay. I'm just gonna go off the dome. I'm gonna put Attack on Titan at 5.
absolutely.
It's great. I think it's really important. It got a lot of people into anime, and I think it's one of the best first episodes I've ever seen. I'm gonna put Haikyuu at 4. I love Haikyuu. I think it is not just one of these best sports anime. I think it is the best sports anime. Period. I just think that if anyone ever played or
What
did
we
or
smile for?
I'm trying to get your reaction to his list.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, give Blue Lock some time to cook a little bit. Maybe we'll see what happens with that, right? But
Blue Lock is like the antithesis of Haikyuu, and it's brilliant in that. Like it's really interesting. But Haikyuu, if you ever played a sport, and ever experienced that level of camaraderie, and ever experienced the ability to get better, like, because you might love your teammates, and you might work hard, but you might not actually get to that point where everything's hitting on all cylinders. If you've ever been part of that once in your life, that's a special thing. And like seeing it animated so well and all those different dynamics, I think it's just brilliant.
yeah, 100%.
3. I'm gonna have to go. Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't put it at 2 or 1 because it's not finished.
Do you read or do you watch?
I watch.
Okay.
Which I might need to change that.
No, I heard that. I mean, I heard some things. I mean,
Right, you heard about the fans too? How the Japanese fans are just like, it's not giving. They're not feeling
nuts. Yeah,
JJK
exactly.
right
They're
now.
Okay, all right.
manga.
A tentative 3 as of right now. I thought the Shibuya arc was dope, and like mind numbing. And I just recently saw some of the Blu-ray edits that they made.
Did you watch that? How could they leave that out, man? I had no idea where that plane came from or the train. You know what I'm talking about? Am I spoiling anything?
No.
I'm spoiling
Like
It's been out long enough.
The Blu-ray edits to the Shibuya arc. I'm like, okay, y'all really didn't have enough time. You still pulled out something amazing. Cool. 2, I'm gonna have to go Cowboy Bebop. It's one of my favorites. It did actually get me interested in jazz in a lot of ways. And I'm a literally a jazz musician, so like I can kind of owe a lot of that to that. And I think Watanabe's like really visionary with what he does. And my favorite anime of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho. Anyone who watches this show knows that my favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Came out of nowhere. Damn.
It's my favorite. I had all the DVDs. It's simple. It's from the 80s, et cetera, et cetera. And I just started rewatching it with my partner for the first time, and it still ages pretty well. Like, so. Am I married to that list? No, but am I proud of that list? Yes.
I like that. I like that pride, man. I can't argue, man. I mean, some of those I wouldn't put on there. Maybe a couple of them, but just goated all the way. I mean, and you're able to talk to. Like, honestly, I should have known like what show I'm on, and that you guys can talk to any choices that you would have picked.
Yeah, damn right.
You almost convinced me. That I would put Haikyuu on my list, and I even watched like the entire thing. I've only watched the hype moments before.
No, you got to go from the beginning go to all
those moments feel earned.
Now, my thing is the best sports manga of all time is Aisho 21. Aisho 21 is phenomenal. It's a terrible anime.
The anime is so awful, but the manga's amazing.
The manga is another basic story. The manga actually convinced me in my youth, my high school days, to play football. I tried out for the football team, and it was the most embarrassing shit I've ever done in my entire life. It was so bad, man. It was so traumatizing. I ran track for the next.
What year was
years.
that for us?
What year?
Was that freshman and stuff? Were we on the team at that same time?
We went to different high schools, by the way. We went to different high schools.
Oh shit, you're totally right.
Exactly. So I was making a fool in private school, and you were like, in public school, like, doing whatever. But it was embarrassing. I ended up running track for the rest of my life, and it worked out because I went to college and ran track. So that being said, Aisha 21 is the best sports manga of all time.
Okay.
But other than that, solid ass list, man. I can't knock anything else.
Jay.
Yeah, I this is my list right now today. You know what I mean? And right now today, I'm gonna go with Naruto, which I know feels basic, however, I cannot deny the imprint it has on me. And honestly, it's like, even though the first animes I remember watching were Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, like in elementary school before I went to school, I remember that on Saturday nights after church, once the sun sets, we were allowed to like watch non-religious media again. Like the things that came on late on Cartoon Network were Justice League and then Naruto. And like that was really, and I remember like anticipating it and loving it. And I love Naruto. I have very strong feelings about it. I know that it's flawed and I get angry at its flaws, but I think also people shit on it too much. So for sure Naruto, I would go down with that ship. And then Claymore. Wow. That was the anime that got me back into anime as an adult. So like I remember seeing it my senior year of college, and I think I had just had this idea of anime as being like over the top and like very shonen and just like over dramatic, but that was like so dark and dramatic and scary sometimes, but epic, that I was like, oh shit, I might have been wrong about this anime thing, and like really got me back in there. Assassination Classroom, because even though it has some weird moments, again, as an educator, I align with it, and I've never cried harder watching an anime than that one.
That last episode hurts.
The ending was phenomenal, dude. It wrapped
so good.
So succinct, dude.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. I was like, I could want more, but you ended this, and I appreciate how you ended this. My Hero Academia, just because like it speaks to the optimist in me, and it's very, like I said, I always feel like the world is ending, and like my belief in humanity is so frail and fragile. But there's something about the generosity of spirit that those kids have and how hard they push themselves for the benefit of other people, that just, or how All Might, like how all these heroes really like push themselves and put themselves in the fire for the benefit of others. And it's just this beautiful reminder of like how we can show up for others that really resonates with me. And then lastly, for no really profound reason, I just love it a lot, it's Bungo Stray Dogs. It really oscillates back and forth between the humor, and then when it gets really serious, it gets really fucking serious, and it always like throws me for a loop. But I think it's really cleverly written. It's so smart. So yeah, those are my 5.
Did you purposely not pick the ones that Miguel picked because you didn't want to, just like a lot?
We don't necessarily have the same anime taste.
We don't.
I thought
we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what makes you such a good host, right? I mean, yin and yang, Ren Stimpy, like the I don't know what else.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that was a good ass list, man. Again, you literally convinced me to put things on my list that I would never put on my list, right? I mean, that was some good stuff, guys. Y'all can talk to your individual anime,
nice,
like none other.
Yeah. So, what is your list? And then after you say that, you can tell us if we passed or not.
Gotcha, 100%. I mean, I wish I could talk to my list as well as you guys could, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has to be on there. Just the most succinct, decisive, like perfectly encapsulated anime. It's got everything. It's a shonen, but like it doesn't do the shonen thing with the character bloat. Right. Every single character is useful.
Yeah,
they serve a purpose. It all comes together perfectly at the end. It's a mystery for a long ass time. Then the mystery gets solved. It has elements of horror because you don't know like what's going on with the homunculus and stuff. Homunculi. And the power-ups are earned. They're well-deserved. The character development is good. It jumps over a bunch of tropes, that kind of stuff.
Stakes are high.
Stakes are high as hell, exactly. Stakes are high as fuck. I would want to put Jujutsu Kaisen on there, but it's like not done yet. And I hear that the manga's slipping up a little bit, so I'm going to wait on that a bit. But so this is the thing, too, because it depends on if you say manga or anime, right? I mean, One Piece of manga is a masterclass in like storytelling and stuff, right? But the anime is the most worst, terribly paced. Like, dog, like, come on now. Every single episode is like 15 minutes because it's 22 minutes, and like the opening takes like
it's 5 minutes.
Whole minutes. 5 minutes exactly, and then the closing takes like 5 minutes, and then like the the recap takes like 3 minutes. Terrible. Yeah. Dressrosa, I'm surprised, my brother. I'm glad you're going through it right now, man. You're going through
lots of stops. I'm not gonna lie. I almost gave up at Thriller Bark, but I powered through it.
The Valley of the Shadow of Death. But let me tell you, at the end of it, you get to what's after Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island is fire.
Okay.
Right? But again, One Piece for the sheer merit of like being able to just talk on end about all the little everything. I put it up there.
Okay.
Attack on Titan would be my other one. And there's a lot of shonen already, so it's a very unfortunate list, but Attack on Titan simply has like some of the best twists in like world building and like plot, like just a slightly unfortunate ending, but like at the same time he still ended it. He was still able to end it, right? Put that up there. Mob Psycho, man. Mob Psycho.
I do love Mob Psycho. I really do.
It is.
I haven't finished Mob Psycho.
I didn't finish the last season either.
I haven't finished
it.
I haven't finished
I didn't know.
It wraps it up perfectly, man. I mean, every single problem, issue, antagonistic force is dealt with perfectly. It's incredibly wholesome. I cried. I've grown up. I was sitting there crying, like, during some of the moments. But it's just amazing. Right? Yeah. That was 4, I think. Right? Was that 3?
I think that's 4.
That was 4.
4.
You said One Piece, Mob, Jujutsu Kaisen. No, you didn't. You said maybe.
No, Jujutsu Kaisen's not.
You said Full Metal Alchemist. You said the one you just said. Mob
Psycho.
It's
4?
Alchemists.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
So that's 4.
And then I think I would put. I don't want to put another shonen, to be honest. And I'm realizing now that my list is much higher than like 5, so I need y'all some some leeway. But y'all seen Parasite before? Parasite.
Oh, I love Parasite.
I don't do body horror. I don't love body horror.
You do body horror? Yeah, that's understandable, right? I don't. Again, I'm soft as Charmin. In fact, the only reason why I initially read it actually was because I wanted the satisfaction of knowing these disgusting things were like just eradicated or like defeated at the end.
Right,
I was like, this thing needs to go. I need to see how they get rid of it. And it ended up being like a very extremely wholesome, nuanced, like existential, like
political,
political, like just beautiful anime. I was like, oh my god, wow, this thing is like well done, and it very, very succinct, 20-something episodes.
Yeah.
If I wasn't gonna put that on the list, it'd be Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, love Hunter
but
Hunter.
I didn't want to double up on the. I had too many shonen already, so
same.
Between those two, I'd say.
I respect that list, man.
Yeah, it's a good list.
No, I like that list a lot, honestly. Full Metal, I would swap out probably Haikyuu.
I'm about to say
for my list. Like,
gotcha. Hey, makes sense.
And I really like Parasite. I think I've watched it 3 or 4 times now. with different people, because like it's one of those ones that like you can get some of the anime silliness, but also you get all this crazy awesome animation,
Right.
good storytelling, and it's
Yes.
succinct. It's not too short. It's not too long. It's a great entrance if you're looking for if folks like horror, and also that opening is a fucking banger.
Oh god, yeah. Absolute banger, man. Yo, I got Osu like right here, man. It's one of my Osu maps, and it has romance too. People forget about that. Like it has actual romance, and when it's done well, I fucking love that. And like,
Yeah,
I mean,
We don't get it enough. I feel like we just talked about that the other day.
people sleep on 80s anime adaptions of 80s late 80s manga. There was a time right there where they got romance right, where like it wasn't like the yes, they could be damsels in distress, the female characters, but they also could, like fuck shit up. Like Keiko ain't no bitch. Like, and you like, there's something about that time period where they had some equity with all the different characters. It made the romance even better. So yeah, I respect that list.
Thanks, guys. And it mixes it up if like you want to include like manga, because some manga just get adapted terribly, right? Yeah. My favorite manga of all time is my like two favorite manga of all time are One Piece and Berserk, and those both get like kind of shafted when it comes to being adapted. Yeah, that's the list, boys.
Cool.
I'd stick to it.
Did we make it?
Drum roll. Did we make it?
No. That's all right. That's all right, and that's okay.
Yeah.
If I could just point out certain things, I mean, if I could just, Jujutsu Kaisen, like, I'm not ready to put it on that list yet. Sorry, it's a very tight core. It's a very tight elite core of mods I have on my channel. All right, it's tough.
Listen, I love that answer.
And none of them like My Hero Academia. I'm sorry to say.
Listen, I would fight for it. I know it's not a popular opinion. I feel like y'all all come from my boy all the time, but I would fight that fight.
Yeah, let me finish. It's great. It's phenomenal. I actually like loved it a lot. But man, it's just like
7 seasons.
First, for one thing, maybe it's the fan base that actually like just turned me off to it, because about the fan base, the shippers and like the people like sending like like threats to the voice actors and shit like that. Like, I'm like, oh my god, get over yourself.
It's so annoying.
That the oversaturation, because the one thing I didn't tell you about cons is that like any kind of super basic anime is cosplayed to death.
Sure.
It was Sword Art Online a couple years ago, or like 5 years ago or something like that. It was My Hero,
I'm sure,
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and it's Demon
Slayer.
Right now. Yeah, you know already. You already know. So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth to get a bitter. But I love what it's trying to preach, though. I love like My Hero has some great ass moments. It's got like also Deku's he's one of those vanilla, boring ass milk toast protagonists. Doesn't do shit. His main quality is that he's good. He does good things, right? He feels compelled to do good. So is everybody else, man. Like, what's good about you? Like,
I don't know. God, see again, like this last season in particular, though.
Wait.
Like,
Jay, let me.
I didn't know you should, man. I'm sorry. I didn't go.
Wait, Jay, let me come to your defense on My Hero, which is a crazy thing for me to actually do, because
especially given what you were saying about Tanjiro last time.
Yes, but also I like My Hero a lot, and there are parts of it that I really enjoyed, and it brought me together with a lot of people that I really love. My boy Brett, who I play a lot of music with, me and him watch my Hero like champions, and it's our show. It's not my favorite, and for a lot of reasons that you articulated really well. What I will say is, I think the genesis of Midoriya, like when I don't know, I think when he is sitting at the computer and like crying because he just doesn't have that thing, and his mom can't do anything about it, it breaks me every single time. And it made me fall in love with the character because of that determination, because he kept crying, not crying, trying. He did keep crying, but he also kept trying, and that for me like forgave a lot of the mishaps that happened like in later seasons, because the genesis of the character was so important. It like hit me. I think it was one of the first times in the first episode where I felt myself like, yeah,
Oh, bro, you ain't gotta tell me. I was full out bawling, like, after he had that talk with All Might, being like, can I spoil? I'm not gonna spoil anything, but
It's like
in the first like 3 episodes,
yeah.
the first 3 episodes were like a solid first 3 episodes.
Absolutely.
It was solid as fuck. I was like, damn, this is amazing. I'm watching some great shit.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just fell off, like, with the whole, again, shonen, like, character bloat, just random ass, like, just bullshit, like, sprinkled in there and stuff.
Yeah.
But those first 3 episodes, like, or first 2 episodes, I was listening to the soundtrack. I was rewatching the scenes. I was like, oh man,
it's a great soundtrack too. Yeah, that
great
thing.
Soundtrack.
Well, it's just like, yes.
There's a reason why it was a meme for a while, man.
Yeah, we say everyone goes with everything. We know it goes with everything.
Exactly.
Shit.
But it's good. Now it made me want to reconsider it. But unfortunately, like, the fan base, I said what I said.
Well, you know what we're gonna do?
Respect.
We've thought a lot about doing like a Blabates episode where we just debate things. And although Miguel and I have different tastes, we don't often disagree strongly enough to warrant a debate. But I'm feeling like we can bring in some friends to have some of these debates.
If that's me, then absolutely, man. I will get down.
We know some opinionated people. Yes. So
unfortunately, I'm very opinionated, which is why my mod core is so tight. That being said, y'all did a good job. It was a good attempt. It was a good attempt.
Thank you.
I was here for it, and you guys like spoke like really well about like some of these animes that I have not thought about in a while. Like Yu Yu Hakusho is like I like some kind of nostalgia when like it just like it hits your chest. You're like it'll never be the same ever again. That happens every time I hear Smile Bomb. I'm like, oh shit, like
it's a bop. It's so good.
It's so
it holds
immensely. It's crazy good. Dude.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I had one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had one more question for you, but it doesn't feel like it fits here. And I'm gonna end it on this anime tier list because you know what, you got to come back. Because
you think so? I'm allowed back.
We're gonna have you back because there's so much more to talk about. But before we end it here, give the plug. Tell people where you're at on Twitch, on Instagram. I know you just started a new Instagram channel. Where can people find you?
I did. My name is Aggamenawon. It's down here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's Aggamenawon at Aggamenawon, like on Instagram, on Twitch. Actually, on Instagram, it's Aggamenawon_TTV. So I'm on TikTok. I just started that up.
Hey.
I'm gonna be on Threads soon. Gotta hit all the different avenues. But yeah, come on through. We stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. Soon to be, I think, on Saturdays or Sundays. I'm not sure which one, but for right now, Tuesdays and Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Give a like. Ring that bell, subscribe, do what you got to do. Come on through. We have Boom Sauce. We have a good time.
Get them that sponsor, y'all. Get them that sponsor.
Exactly. Lord Hobo, if you're watching. No, but yeah, we have a good time, and hopefully I see some of y'all. If not, then I guess I'm going to be back on the Miggle Wiggle podcast at some point, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to come on for a panel, or just when something happens that you have a certain expertise on, we know who to call.
Yeah.
And
expertise. I'm flattered that y'all master's students, but I have expertise, man. That's crazy. But honestly, I'm really honored to be on here. Back in the day, I used to be like before it was a pejorative term, I was a social justice warrior, right? And I was trained in talking about like certain things that were like hard to talk about in society. The Black experience, not just the Black experience, like any kind of experience, right? Be the LGBTQIA experience. Feminism, having a safe space to talk about those things. And it's very rare that people want to talk about those things now because everybody's just so afraid of the tide. So it's very, very refreshing to see like, you brothers like doing this out here and having like a space where you can talk about it. And I'm flattered that I was able to come on here and just give my like 2 cents, whatever it's worth. I mean, certainly less than 2 cents, like about whatever. So thanks again.
A pleasure.
No, your humbleness is I appreciate it, but put yourself where you need to be, bro.
They're $2 opinions, not 2 cents opinions.
$2.
Oh man,
good looking out.
Yeah, man. So with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Playblack. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a review. Hit us up on Instagram at Playblack Podcast, TikTok as well. DM us, all that good stuff. And make sure to give Amenawon a follow. I was going to mess your names, but I'm not even going to try because
Aggamenawon.
There it is. Thank you.
Aggamenawon.
And hit him up on Twitch. And yeah, we'll see y'all back here soon, probably with a reaction to whatever the hell happened at.
I'll tell you an Anime Boston debrief.
Yeah, we'll probably do an Anime Boston debrief. But we also, I think in the next couple of episodes, we're going to be talking about live action adaptions.
That's
and
true.
What they got right and what they got wrong. So again, please y'all share, help a homie out, help homies out. And
watch that damn YouTube.
He got lotioned up for y'all. Let's like,
I also edit those and I'm just like, I have a life. I have things I can be doing, not to scream into the void. Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, we'll see you back here soon. Peace. Peace.